personnel. And they did a poll, a survey, and it came back that, well, we all knew that the audience was predominantly female. And I say predominantly because there are a lot of guys who enjoy it. And so all of a sudden, the show changed. And there were car chases, and Vincent was mauling about a dozen guys an episode, and there were gunfights and helicopters exploding, and I was in kind of the middle of it, because really my one shot in the first season, by the third season, I think I was in 8 or so, 7 or 8 episodes, and had become a regular. But it was very, very obvious to us that the heart of the show was no longer there. And it wasn't that it left with Linda at all, that's not my implication, but the people who were in charge, and again, not so much the suits, because Kaz is a suit, and Schwartzy's a suit, and, these and these are fine, fine. But essentially, I did another show, actually here in Texas years ago, called Yellow Rose. In which I truly played my favorite character I think that I've ever played, Keystone. And matter of fact, I'm wearing my Yellow Rose champion belt buckle from the rodeo we had, and I'm the only one who could ride. Except Sybil gave me a run for my money because she was on this horse that got a horseshoe snag in a cable and the horse went crazy. And was bucking and jumping all around and dragging this 9-light all over the set, and she almost got rough riding, but I took it by a whisker. But once they had decided to make it a more of a violent and an action-oriented show, for a lot of us, it became a job. A job we loved and a job we cared about. But nonetheless, it wasn't the same sort of extraordinary, magical, special thing that it was for us as well as you. There have been a few times in my career when I've been blessed to have that kind of magic. And the first one in Butterflies Are Free, in Beauty and the Beast. There are a few, and it is why I do it. God, I did Butterflies Are Free in '72, I think. And 10 months ago, I had the woman come up to me in the parking lot and say, listen, I've just got to thank you. You're welcome. And she said, no, you don't quite understand. Both of my parents were blind. And I didn't understand. And we all went to see the movie together, and it gave us a tremendous sense of oneness with each other and understanding, and helped me realize their extraordinary courage and their even more extraordinary humor. And for me, truly, there is nothing better than that. Let me look and see if there's anything interesting supposed to be. No, I mean, it's just been an amazing experience for me to have an opportunity here with you guys too, because it certainly is completely different from anything I ever heard, not necessarily about Beauty and the Beast conventions, but about fan conventions generally. And I'm a people person. I love people. But having grown up in the limelight, I know how important it is, not for me, but for my wife and daughter, to keep my private life private. Anything that I do on stage, on camera, I do for you. But when I go home, that's ours. And I know that you can understand that, and you must. You must never be offended or hurt by actors who say something negative about fans, or they either just haven't had this kind of experience. Well, actually, it's interesting because my dad, I was really blessed that I have the father that I have, because he's just done so many wonderful things and continues to. And truly is my best male friend. We talk a couple of times a day on the phone, we see each other several times a week, and travel together, work together whenever we can. If he gets a job, he says, well, my son is about drug-induced short-term memory loss. Oh, I know what I was going to say, but you mustn't be offended. Because in many cases, they just don't understand. And for people to feel that wave of love that you guys put out, unless you feel secure within your own heart, and that usually comes from growing up in a loving family, it can be very scary. You know, and especially like this, I mean, people were saying, oh, about Ed, when I sang with the guitar, I was absolutely petrified. You know, if I grew up in front of cameras, that holds no fear for me at all. But, well, you know, in the choir, they do their yearly survey of the things that people fear most, you know. And you always think, what's going to be number one? Divorce, murder, you know, death by kitty litter, but almost always number one, if not, but always in the top three, if not number one, is appearing in front of a large group of people. Because there is some very deep-seated primitive fear in our little reptilian brains back here that really, really is scared of looking stupid. You know, and in front of the camera, you've got 3, 4, 5, 15 takes, whatever you can use. I just worked for a guy, a director who didn't have final cut. So whatever went into the camera was it. So we went one take on everything. And in some cases, halfway through the take, he'd cut it, change to the reverse, film the other person's response, cut it, and then go back to me. So that literally that poor editor is going to get the film, and all he's going to be able to do is, you know, put it together. There's absolutely nothing he can do. It's a way the directors use to protect themselves. I saw one of some of the drawings of me with a beard and long hair. Yeah. I did a couple of films in Africa after the first season. I think, no, second season, right? You tell me. I was hanging out with John Savage, who actually moved to Soweto with his 2 lovely, lovely children, teenagers. Soweto is the black township in South Africa, in Johannesburg, where hardly a white man has ever seen. And I always put a band together when I'm on location, and I put together the Zulu Blues Brothers. Me, 4 Zulus, 3 Tswana backup chicks, and a bass player from Houston. And we visit down there and everything. And they love the beads and stuff in your hair, you know, I mean, long hair. Anyway, so I've been visiting John and everything. I just sort of started letting my hair and my beard grow. I've done one film that I've been hired as an actor, and while I was there, I started chatting with this guy who happened to mention that he was writing the next film they were going to shoot, and he was in real trouble and had writer's block, and I offered to help him. And somewhere along the line, the lead character became an awful lot like me. And so I came back, and I mean, to his credit, I said to Kaz, I said, listen, Ron, I got long hair and a beard. What'd you say? Well, why don't we just keep it? And he went for it, and that's very rare. You know, people don't like to take that kind of, as trivial as it seems, that kind of chance. You know, because nobody wants to say yes to something that if it doesn't work, they'll get in trouble for. So it's easier to say no. You know, I think we probably all